Good morning and welcome back to our Bible studies. We are doing 365 days of Bible studies to introduce us to the different genres of writing in the Bible. Today we're on day 96, looking at the early monarchy, the period between Saul and Solomon, and we're looking at King David at the moment and his struggles to claim the monarchy. We're choosing several verses out of the second book of Samuel, chapters 2 and 3. We're going to look at chapter 2, verse 4 and verses 8 to 11, and chapter 3, verse 1, and chapter 5, verses 1 to 3, to give us an overview of David's struggle to claim the monarchy. The Judeans came to Hebron, which David had just taken, and there they anointed David as king of Judah. At the same time, Abner, Ner's son, the commander of Saul's troops, had fled across the Jordan with Ishbosheth, Saul's son, to Mahanaim. There he declared that Ishbosheth was king of Gilead, Asher, Jezreel, Ephraim and Benjamin, yes, and of all Israel. He was 40 years old when he was anointed, and he reigned for 2 years. The tribe of Judah, however, was loyal to David, and he reigned in Hebron for 7.5 years. The fighting between Saul's family supporters and those supporting David lasted a long time. But David grew increasingly strong, whilst his opponents weakened. King Ishbosheth of Israel was eventually murdered in his sleep by 2 of his own leaders. David accused them of regicide and had them executed. Then all the tribes of Israel came to David at Hebron. They said, "We are your own flesh and blood. Even when Saul was still king, you used to lead Israel in battle. Yahweh promised that you would lead the people and become king." So all their leaders came, and he made a solemn pact with them. They anointed him king of Israel. David, or just maybe the later editors of his stories, knew that legitimacy was an important issue. He knew that Saul had been anointed by God, and he respected that. On several occasions, when he had the upper hand, he spared Saul's life. And now, when the 2 assassins arrived, carrying Israelite King Ishbosheth's head, expecting praise and a reward, David accused them of killing the Lord's anointed and had them executed, and gave the king's detached head a decent burial. The immediate initiative to reunite the divided nation came not from King David of Judah, but from the leadership of Israel's tribes. They came to David and reminded him that back in Saul's reign, he had led them all in battle. He had a right to be their king. Once negotiations had been concluded, they anointed him, the king of Judah, as their king too. For a short time, just the reigns of David and his son Solomon, what were later to become the Jews in Judah and the Samaritans in Israel, were a united nation. So the scripture affirms a principle, that the Lord's anointed should be respected. Now this, over the centuries, led to many a Christian king claiming more legitimacy than they deserved. How do you remove a servant of the people who becomes a tyrant? Where are the checks and balances that give such power its just limitations? Recent events in the United States and in Russia have shown that the same questions remain, even in what on the face of it look like democracies. Christ was eventually to provide us with an idealized model of monarchy, based on his example as our servant king. This is the ideal of leadership to which modern government ought to aspire, not of entitlement, but of service and self-sacrifice. But still the love of power and the greed for advantage takes hold of individuals and sometimes of whole political movements. We all need to keep our guard up. Tomorrow, we come to one of the highlights of David's reign, the arrival of the Ark of the Covenant to the site of the as yet unbuilt temple in Jerusalem. I'll see you tomorrow.